Welcome back to Answers with Plato, the show where dead philosophers get dragged into the 21st century to explain why we're all still losing our shit over the same problems they solved 2,000 years ago. I'm your host, Plato. Yes, that Plato. And today, we're talking about why life feels so damn hard. Because, let's be honest, it does. Doesn't matter how many self-help books you've bought or how many mindset reels you've watched while eating leftover pizza at 2 a.m. It still feels like we're running uphill with a fridge strapped to our back. So I figured, why not ask someone who actually knew a thing or two about hard lives? He was an emperor, a philosopher, and the guy who wrote one of the most badass self-help books before self-help was even a thing. Please welcome to the show, Marcus Aurelius.
It's an honor. Also, thank you for inviting me here. I haven't done a podcast since, well, ever.
Yeah, the Wi-Fi in ancient Rome was pretty shit, huh?
Ha ha ha. Oh, it was terrible. We had aqueducts, baths, legions, but not a single decent microphone. Tragic, really.
Well, we've fixed that part at least. All right, let's jump in. People today say life's harder than it's ever been. You know, bills, burnout, mental health, Instagram filters, all that. But you lived through plagues, invasions, political backstabbing. You even had people literally trying to stab you. So tell me, Marcus, from where you're standing, why does life still feel so damn hard?
Because, my friend, the enemy never changes. Only its weapons do. In my time, it was barbarians at the gates. Today, it's anxiety, comparison, and a phone that won't stop buzzing. But underneath it all, it's the same war we've always fought. The war inside ourselves.
You mean the inner battles?
Exactly. People think life is hard because the world is against them. But the truth? Most people are fighting their own minds and losing.
So even with all our technology and therapy and mindfulness apps, we're basically still just confused monkeys throwing rocks at our own thoughts.
Haha, pretty much. And half of those rocks are coming from social media. But we'll get to that later.
Oh, we will. Because I need to understand why someone's mood can collapse because a stranger didn't like their brunch photo.
That's the modern battlefield, Plato. The mind's always been a bastard, but now it's got Wi-Fi.
So if the enemy's always been the same, our own minds, why does it feel heavier now? Why does a Monday morning email hit harder than a barbarian raid?
Because comfort makes cowards of us. When life's easy, the smallest inconvenience feels like a damn earthquake. People today lose their minds if the Wi-Fi drops for 5 minutes. I had whole provinces rebelling before breakfast.
Yeah, I suppose if my biggest problem was the buffer wheel instead of a Germanic invasion, I'd complain less. But I guess it's all relative.
Exactly. And there's another reason. Expectations. Humans now expect happiness to be constant, like it's their birthright. Back in Rome, we expected suffering. We trained for it. We counted on it. That way, when the shit hit the fan, and it always did, we weren't surprised.
So basically, we've turned life into a theme park and then get pissed off when there's a queue.
Ha ha ha. That's one way to put it. But yes, the Stoic view is simple. Suffering isn't a bug, it's a feature. The weight is what makes you stronger. Remove all struggle, and you remove the chance to grow.
And yet, here we are, soft, overstimulated, and furious that the Amazon delivery's late.
And that fury is proof of the problem. When the mind has nothing real to wrestle with, it creates enemies out of trivialities. You're not angry at the delivery man. You're angry that life didn't bend to your will. That's ego. And ego will wreck you faster than any sword.
You're saying it's not that life's harder? It's that we're weaker?
In many ways, yes. But I don't mean that as an insult. It's not about being weak like a coward. It's about being untrained. You wouldn't walk into a gladiator pit without conditioning. But people walk into life every day without ever having wrestled with pain, boredom, failure, or rejection.
So what's the first rep? What's the philosophical push-up that gets you started?
Embrace discomfort deliberately. Do hard things on purpose. Take cold showers, lift heavy weights, say no when you want to say yes. Train your mind to realize that discomfort doesn't kill you. It teaches you. That way, when life throws real punches, you don't crumble like cheap pottery.
That's probably the best advice we'll give all episode. Stop running from discomfort and start training with it. Like sparring with life.
Exactly. And eventually, the shit life throws at you starts feeling more like sparring and less like slaughter.
All right, let's talk about the beast of the modern age, social media. Because if anxiety's a monster, then Instagram and TikTok are like pouring protein shakes down its throat.
Ahaha. That's a vivid image. But you're not wrong. Social media is just the Colosseum with better lighting. Back in my day, people screamed for blood. Today, they scream for validation. Same noise, same hunger, different arena.
And instead of lions and gladiators, we're watching people lip sync and sell protein powder.
Exactly. And the worst part? People think they're spectators. They scroll and judge and compare. But the truth is, they're all in the arena too. Every post, every selfie, every like is them stepping into the sand, begging the crowd not to boo.
So what's that doing to the human mind?
It's starving it. Starving it of focus, purpose, and peace. People chase approval like it's oxygen, and when they don't get it, they suffocate. They tie their self-worth to the opinions of strangers, and then wonder why they feel like shit.
I read a study once that said people feel worse after scrolling social media than they did before, which is hilarious, because they know that, and they still do it.
Because it's engineered that way. Every scroll is a coin toss, validation or rejection. And that randomness is addictive as hell. It's the same principle as gambling, except instead of money, you're risking your self-esteem.
So how would a Stoic deal with that?
By remembering one thing, you don't need the crowd. If they cheer, good. If they boo, good. Either way, you stay the same. A Stoic doesn't post for approval. He speaks his truth and lets the world do what it will. And if the world doesn't like your brunch photo, who cares? It's just bread and eggs, not your soul.
That's a tweet right there. It's just bread and eggs, not your soul.
Haha. Put it on a t-shirt. Maybe then people will remember that their worth isn't measured in hearts or follows. It's measured in how they act when no one's watching.
You know, if you'd had Twitter back then, I feel like meditations would have just been a series of banger tweets.
Probably. Be indifferent to praise and blame. Boom. Viral.
And some guy in the comments would still call you a snowflake.
Of course. But that's fine. If the crowd's yelling, it means you're still standing. Silence is for the forgotten.
All right, Emperor. Let's talk about the big stuff. You didn't just write fancy quotes, you actually lived them. What were the toughest battles you ever faced?
Well, there were a few. Plagues, invasions, political chaos, the usual Tuesday. But the hardest fight was never the Germans or the Parthians. It was the one inside my own damn skull.
You mean the classic me versus me cage match?
Exactly. People assume emperors are fearless. Truth is, I woke up plenty of mornings scared out of my toga. The weight of an empire isn't glamorous. It's like trying to juggle knives while riding a horse. On fire.
Sounds like a leadership seminar waiting to happen.
Haha. Yeah. Leadership, don't drop the flaming knives. But seriously, I had moments where I doubted every decision. Do we go to war? Do we hold the line? Every choice meant thousands of lives. And that pressure can break you if you don't master your thoughts.
And yet, you kept going. How?
By shrinking the battlefield. I stopped thinking about saving Rome and started thinking about doing the next right thing. One decision, one day, one breath. That's it. Because if you stare too long at the size of the mountain, you'll convince yourself you can't climb it.
Man, that's powerful. It's like when someone opens their inbox on a Monday and just nopes out because there's 300 unread emails.
Exactly. Open one, deal with it. Then another. The rest will still be there. And if the world ends while you're answering the second one, well, at least you died productive.
Fair point. Any battles that weren't in your head?
Oh yeah, the Antonine Plague was brutal, wiped out millions. And while that was happening, tribes were crossing the borders, the treasury was bleeding, and half the Senate hated my guts. At one point, I was writing philosophical notes in the middle of a damn war camp. Can you imagine? Everyone's screaming, swords clashing, and I'm there scribbling, remember, the obstacle is the way.
That's legendary. Most people can't even journal unless they've lit a candle and brewed chamomile tea.
Aha, true. But that's the lesson. You don't wait for life to calm down before you practice resilience. You practice it in the chaos. Because if you can stay grounded while everything's on fire, nothing can touch you.
So the battle never really ends? It just changes shape.
Exactly. And the trick isn't to win every fight. It's to keep showing up, even when you're tired, scared, or feel like shit. Victory's a side effect of persistence.
All right, let's bring this down to ground level. Because I can already hear some people listening thinking, cool story, Emperor Guy, but I'm not running an empire. I'm just trying not to lose my shit at the school run. What lessons from your life still apply right now?
Haha. More than you'd think. First one, stop expecting ease. Life isn't supposed to be comfortable all the time. If you expect it to be, every bump feels like a betrayal. But if you wake up expecting resistance, you stop being shocked when it shows up.
Kind of like expecting rain in England. You might get sun, but you're not crying when it pours.
Exactly. Lesson 2. Don't outsource your peace. People give away control of their emotions way too easily. To the news, to their boss, to the random idiot on the internet. The Stoic approach is simple. They don't control your reaction. You do.
So if someone cuts me off in traffic, I can either yell and ruin my day, or shrug and keep my blood pressure under control.
Bingo. The world throws sparks. You choose whether you catch fire. Third lesson. Pay attention to your inner dialogue. Most people talk to themselves like they're their own worst enemy. You'd never speak to a friend the way you speak to yourself. And that's madness. Because no one's voice is louder in your life than your own.
So, be a better roommate to yourself.
Exactly. You're stuck living with that voice. Might as well make it a decent one. And here's a big one. Don't chase happiness. Build purpose. Happiness is fickle. It comes and goes. Purpose sticks around. Even on shitty days. Especially on shitty days.
I like that. Happiness is dessert. Purpose is the meal.
Beautifully put. And lastly, focus on what you can control. Most suffering comes from trying to bend reality to our will. But reality doesn't care. The weather doesn't care. The algorithm doesn't care. The only thing that's truly yours is how you respond. Master that, and you're untouchable.
Man, that one should be tattooed on everyone's forehead. Control the controllable.
It's not flashy advice, but it's the foundation of peace. You don't control the world. You control how you meet the world.
And if you meet it with strength, it doesn't matter how hard it gets. You'll still be standing.
Exactly. And you might even laugh along the way. Which, if you ask me, is half the point.
Well, Marcus, I think that's the most useful conversation humanity's had in a couple thousand years. And no one even had to die in a gladiator pit to hear it.
Haha. Always a bonus. And if someone listening takes even one thing from this, like expecting struggle or owning their reaction, that's enough. You don't need to fix your whole life today. You just need to start showing up differently tomorrow.
I like that. It's not about becoming a stone statue overnight. It's about building the muscle. One hard moment, one tough choice, one uncomfortable conversation at a time.
Exactly. Strength isn't a gift. It's a habit.
And before you go, I've got to ask, if you could tell someone listening just one thing to remember when life feels impossibly heavy, what would it be?
That weight you feel? It's not there to crush you. It's there to make you stronger. Every burden is a chance to build the version of yourself you've been waiting to meet. Don't run from it. Use it.
Damn, that's a mic drop moment if I've ever heard one.
What's a mic?
Never mind. Ancient joke.
Ha 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 ha.
Marcus, thanks for being here, and for reminding us that even in a world with Wi-Fi, memes, and mental breakdowns, the answers haven't really changed all that much.
My pleasure. May we all suffer less and grow more.
And to you listening, if this conversation hit home, share it with someone who's going through their own battles. Hell, send it to the friend who's one traffic jam away from screaming at a lamppost. And if you want more talks like this, more ancient wisdom with a bit of modern bullshit sprinkled on top, hit follow or subscribe wherever you're listening. Until next time. This is Answers with Plato. Stay curious, stay grounded, and for the love of Zeus, stop checking your notifications.